Welcome back, folks. It's your pal Orange Hat here on X and YouTube. We are live for weekly recap number 33. We got Ambassador in the house from last week, and we got coming back from her family vacation, Kate from Nerd with a Cigar. How are you, Kate?
Doing pretty well. If you follow me on X/Twitter, you will know I was on the East Coast. I was on Cape Cod, and that was pretty fun. And now I'm back and ready for not only this stream, but if you've been listening, you know I'm ready for the season finale of House of the Dragon tonight. So, whoop, whoop. Mm-hmm. Throw it in the comments if you're also watching.
Yep. So we got there's been a lot of stuff going on this week, folks. The Gina Carano lawsuit, we got an update for you there.
That's a big one.
Pablo Hidalgo accidentally possibly inserting himself in the lawsuit because he couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
We also have some news about the Olympics. It's been all over. I mean, it happened like early in the week, but there's going to be some stuff to discuss. And I am going to be objective about it, folks. So there might be some stuff you don't agree with. There might be stuff you do agree with.
But we can have a healthy discussion on here and healthy discussion in the comments without being mean to each other, please.
Rings of power, as a lot of other people call it, rangs, not rings. But I will not call it what they want us to call it, which is Lord of the Rings. It's not. It's Rings of Power. So we are going to get into all that. But before I get started, if you want to support my channel, like, comment, subscribe, and share my content out. That's the best ways to do it. I'm trying to reach 2,025 subs by 2025. If I can get there before New Year's, awesome. We got 5 more months to go. So 5, 4, 5, I don't know.
I thought you were about to say 4 more years, and I was like, what?
I wish. But no, 5 more months to go. So any and all help can be and is appreciated. I ain't in it for the money. I'm in it to inform. If I can inform people, get them to think, get them to say, maybe he's got a point. Let's look into this. I will have properly done my job. As for the weekly schedule, tomorrow is 9 p.m. the Monday Night Rants. Tuesday's August theme streams is Mel Gibson, the badassery of Mel Gibson and his acting talent in his many movies that I have seen and whatnot. I'm not going to go over all of his movies because I haven't seen all of his movies, but you get my point. Tuesday night is the Barroom Podcast on Society Reviews channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Wednesdays, sometimes this month, I'm guessing in the latter half, will be ones and twos with my friend Jade Shadow, Mara. We talk, we're going to be talking female leads in movies that aren't woke. Beginning, or with the ones and twos, it's going to be Kill Bill. And with the singles, it's going to be G.I. Jane and Quick and the Dead. So stay tuned for those.
I love Kill Bill. That's awesome.
Those are going to be 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. And singles are going to be the nights following those on X exclusively because fuck YouTube. They got me a warning that I didn't deserve. So coming up with rules on the fly just to frickin' penalize my channel. And then Friday is Orange Hat Uncensored. So before we get further into it, let's have Ambassador plug your channel. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Channel is the Ambassador Wing here on YouTube. If you want to follow me on my socials, I am on X and on Instagram. Handles on there. X, it's Ambassador Kosh 7. On Instagram, it's the Ambassador Kosh. I will never get rid of those handles because I love that character so much from Babylon 5. Coming up this month on the A Wing, 2 watch-alongs, one for the original Beetlejuice and another one for the not the original, but the first 2000s Fantastic Four movie. And then reviews coming up for this month. Ultra Retro review series. It's going to be The Adventures of Robin Hood, and also going to be continuing with the Tarantino podcast, But of course, one that you just mentioned and one that you just mentioned, Kate, Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. And I'm just trying to get more subs. I'm at 507, so if I can get to 530 by my birthday, which is next month, that'd be super. So
get his let's get his support going, folks. People like Ambassador, me, and others, we do what we can to inform. Let the bigger channels do it all for the money and the outrage.
Yeah, that's because they're lazy.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, some of them are, some of them aren't, and that's all I'll say on it. So, getting started, folks. The Olympics boxing controversy of Carini versus Khalif. Now, a lot of people have been saying that a man, beat on a woman. That's true and false at the same time. And so we are going to provide context. So
can we talk about the even like crazier thing that like a convicted pedophile child rapist is playing for, was it the Netherlands? Yeah. Everybody's getting distracted by this boxing thing. And there's a Netherlands dude who's been convicted of raping a 12-year-old that he met on the internet. And like,
if that happens, I don't know enough about that, so I can't really discuss it.
Oh, okay. But I'll send you the thing and we can talk about it behind the scenes. But I think this is a big psyop. But yes, you are correct. He's both yes and no. Maybe a man beat up a woman.
Let me provide it or full context. So a lot of people are saying that this was a trans boxer, and that is not the case. The more scientific term would be hermaphrodite.
Yeah, was it intersex or something? Because she couldn't pee. She couldn't pass a pee test or something.
She failed in the she failed a gender test in the 2023 World Boxing Championships, where apparently she passed in the Olympic background checks and shit. But the thing is, folks, this woman, Mani Khalif, is intersex. She has both male and female attributes. She has excessive testosterone. She has XY chromosome. She is genetically a male. However, she has female genitalia. She probably has internal testes, meaning her balls are on the inside instead of the outside.
See, this is just confusing for everybody. Because
yes, it is incredibly confusing. But here's why I'm actually providing you all the stuff. Now, folks, it is a extreme rarity to have a hermaphrodite boy or boy and girl out there. Right. It is even rarer to have one in Amani Khalif's standpoint, because she can't absorb the testosterone into her hormones as well as she should be able to, which means she gets excessive testosterone. She's not shooting it up. Her body is not, or her body is building it up, but not releasing it as it should. So she does have male presenting.
That's why she has more masculine features, and then
she's
more
a bigger
male presenting
body, stronger body, and whatnot. So when she hit Carini,
and she said that I have never been hit that hard in my life, and she was crying. Yeah.
Now, a lot of conservatives has decided to use Angela Carini, and this is where I'm going to piss off a lot of folks. I do not stand with Angela Carini. I don't stand with Amani Khalif, but I also do not stand with Angela Carini, and here's why. Carini said right after, "I'm not doing this out of protest. I wish her all the luck to go forward and win." Riley Gaines, everybody's favorite swimmer who lost to a transgender and has been a political figure ever since, and so many other high-name conservatives have been pushing, we must stand with Angela Carini. We must, for the most part, most people are saying it's not right for any man to beat on a woman, period. and whatnot.
I
And
think
I
most
agree
people
with
would.
that.
I think most people would agree with that. I think
Yes.
where the line is drawn, and I have heard this about I forget what her last name is. The girl from, is it Turkey, who has male
Khalif.
presenting. Yeah. I had heard this and I was like, well, it's kind of her fault for getting into the ring with this girl she knew was like more masculine,
Exactly.
Secondly, this isn't like a Fallon Fox situation, in MMA where I don't know if you saw that, like lower level MMA where Fallon Fox was a transgender woman who
Mhm.
was former
Yeah.
Navy SEAL and just like eating punches from these very athletic, very good MMA fighters, and then would just like take these girls to the ground and submit them. So it's not fun to watch men beating up women, and there seems to only be an issue in women's sports when it comes to this like gender identity thing. I don't see it in male sports. However, if everything that you're saying and everything like that you've presented is like factual evidence, then yeah, it's really unfair for everybody to be dogging on her for just being like having like a hormonal imbalance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are like, she shouldn't be in boxing, and I agree, she shouldn't be boxing in that league. She is intersex. She has an inherent advantage due to her XY chromosome and her male
But
part of her
also on
body.
the other side, to play devil's advocate, I totally would understand her going into a more masculine quote unquote thing. If it's not
Well, yeah.
sports, I could totally see her doing like, deep sea fishing or like oil line work or something like that, because due to her strength, use that as your advantage, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just playing devil's advocate, I totally understand
I
why
get it.
she would go into a combat sport.
Yeah. I mean, the testosterone makes you more aggressive and whatnot. But
Right.
getting
No,
back
so I
to
get
it,
it. I get it.
folks,
Yeah.
getting back to it, because I know that Ambassador is chomping at the bit on this one, but let me finish my bit here. Angela Carini, or people kept on putting money out for her and whatnot, conservatives and shit. And I fucking lambasted those conservatives. I hope you all are fucking proud of yourselves, because now she's fucking apologizing for all the hate that Khalif is getting. Not that Khalif should have gotten any hate, because I decided to take a stand on waiting until more information came out before opening my mouth at all, folks. I waited a couple days to find out a little bit more, and which is the best thing to do, because I know a lot of us who are YouTubers want to get that shit out as fast as possible. But the problem that you have when you do that is, by doing so, trying to get it out as quick as possible, you line yourself up for having to do a corrective video or to correct the record later on, unless you are planning on doing a real dumb fucking move, which is doubling and tripling down.
Like the
Now,
legacy media does with the 24-hour news cycle.
But anyway, so I do not stand with Angela Carini because she supports transgenderism in sports, most likely, because she's like, I ain't gonna freaking protest this woman's right to fight. Now, Khalif has been fighting, has continued to move up in the ranks in Olympics. She's winning. And we also have an actual pure XY in the female boxing league, which is from Taiwan, who is claiming he is female, doesn't have the intersex. He's actually beating on fucking women and winning. He's got the speed and the reach over most of these women, and it's like, that is definitely unfair. But the whole thing with Imani Khalif and Angela Carini, conservatives who championed Carini, you are dumb fucks.
It just goes to show that either side can have bandwagoners and people who have knee-jerk reactions. So it's not like that surprising, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on. You can still have people who are like, oh, I see a thing, react, without getting all the information. It's just human nature, So, like, I get where you're coming from. I just wanted to be a little bit more like, I don't know, sympathetic toward...
No, I get it. I'm sympathetic, and I do not believe that women should be subject to that kind of punishment. I believe there should be a third league, which is intra and trans.
Sure.
But Ambassador, you wanted to say something on this, didn't you?
Yeah. You know, I'm not just saying I disagree with the information that you provide. I can't refute it. But as much as I detest what has happened to these female boxers, they have had their opportunities, as far as I'm concerned, stolen from them, whether they support trans athletes or not. The people I really hold to blame is the IOC. They have caved, they have buckled, they have kowtowed to a single percentage point of the world's population. And quite frankly, I have nothing but disdain and disgust for the IOC in general. They have lost pretty much any bit of credibility, at least with myself, and I imagine several others. While I don't approve by any means of intersex or men who claim to be women participating in women's sports, I do not. Women's sports are there for women. Period. End of discussion.
Can you define a woman, Ambassador?
Yeah, I'm talking to one right now.
Thank you. I'm just being shisty. Sorry.
It's fine. And no, I'm not talking about Orange Hat over here. He's not a woman. He's a dude like me. I hold the IOC completely and totally to blame for the whole debacle. Not just for the opening ceremonies, but the whole issue with the boxing champion, with the whole boxing thing, and any other of the sports that has any of this nonsense going on. Have the backbone to say to your athletes, male and female and otherwise, we are going to put you against opponents that you should be could be competing against, not someone that's going to come in the ring and that you're going to bow out within 45 freaking seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I have absolutely no qualms about calling the leadership of the IOC a pack of gutless, ballless, spineless cowards.
Nice.
They should hang their heads in perpetual shame for what they've done to these athletes.
Yeah.
Now, you disagree with me? Okay, fine. We can have a discussion about where you disagree with me. That's fair enough. But I cannot stand idly by and say nothing when I see wrongdoing and injustice being done to a particular group while the other group is given favoritism and chances that they should not rightfully have. And with that, I yield the floor.
I like where you're coming from, just putting the IOC on blast, because it should have stopped there. I shouldn't have gone farther. And this shouldn't have even been an issue, because now we're worried about like the safety of our athletes, right? And it's the athletes who suffer in the long run. You know, it's the female athletes who suffer in the long run.
And
So
Jenner, go ahead. Sorry, Orange.
No. Go ahead. You
just
were saying.
briefly. And when you've got Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, coming out and saying this stuff isn't right, well, then you know you've really screwed the pooch. So,
right?
I'm done. I'm done.
So with that out of the way, folks, my final thoughts on this are, since we do live in a world where there are people out there who are confused about their gender, and some of those people who have manipulated and abused the whole transgender community by saying, since they can't hack it in their own biological gender, they want to go to a different gender in order to be better. I find those people to be despicable. But for those of them, if they cannot get over their gender dysphoria, I do believe a third league should be made. One which allows them to compete with themselves as an intersex and others who are a part of that community. I mean, I would call it the Special Olympics, but that's already taken. So we would have to call it like, I don't know, the I'm not going to go there. I could, but I'm not going to.
Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Let's
move on.
Yeah.
Gina Carano
Love her.
is planning on calling Kathleen Kennedy, Pedro Pascal, and others to the stand in the lawsuit against Disney. So I am going to share this article. Kate,
I'll let you know if your
drill.
audio goes out. Yeah,
Yeah.
we know the drill.
So
Ambassador is already.
yeah.
Let's go, Ambassador. He's ready. As you can see by my photo, I love Gina, and she's great.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Gina.
We got this article from Bounding in the Comics, folks. I'm going to read it from there, so I'm sorry if I can't get onto the comments, however they may come in. So, Carano Disney lawsuit. Mandalorian actress names Kathleen Kennedy, Chapek, Bob, and Pascal, Pedro, as potential witnesses for upcoming wrongful termination trial. So, the former Mandalorian actress, Gina Carano, has named a number of Disney big shots, including Bob Chapek and Lucasfilm.
It's pronounced Chapek. Chapek.
Don't start with that shit. I don't give a fuck if it's Kamala or Kamala. Anyway, as potential witnesses in her upcoming court battle with the House of Mouse. So, by the way, we all covered how the House of Mouse got utterly humiliated with their dumbass fucking First Amendment offense, which got completely lambasted last month or week. So, said big shots were made party to Carano's wrongful termination lawsuit, courtesy of July 26 filing, which made the actress's legal team with the United States Central California District Court. She is doing this in California, folks, because she has a better chance winning there. So, here in summarizing the information they were currently seeking to bring to trial, Carano's attorneys provided Los Angeles District Judge overseeing the case, the Honorable Sherilyn Peace Garnett, with a list of witnesses they were considering calling upon to testify regarding her complaint. Though the potential witnesses include Survivor television host Bear Grylls, who hosted the actress on an episode of Running Wild with Bear Grylls, which itself was ultimately pulled by Disney after Carano got fired, in which she is most likely going to pull or call him up to have that explained in the evidentiary hearing. The United Talent Agency, who represented Carano until her firing, to clarify some stuff there. PR firm IDPR, who likewise dropped Carano after she was cut from The Mandalorian. Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau, most likely they're calling him in because he can confirm whether or not there was a Rangers of the New Republic show that she was being tapped for.
Which,
Mandalorian.
like, I remember those rumors online being spread by, quote unquote.
It wasn't rumors. It was confirmed by KK, but yeah.
Right. And so everybody was talking about it and getting excited. Oh my gosh, Gina, she has her own show and it's going to be her and Carl Weathers, and that's going to be just a fun tag team. And everybody was like talking about it. I remember this. And then all of a sudden it was like, where did she go? Mm-hmm. What the heck?
Continuing, the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal, whose lack of punishment after his public insulting conservatives, Carano is pointing it out as proof that she was treated unfairly. So yeah, they're going to call him up and it's like, yeah, did you post a post on Twitter that called 80 million people Nazis simply because they voted for Trump? Yeah, I dare you to lie about that, Pedro. I dare you to lie about that.
And he gets nervous. He's a nervous dude.
Well, at least he plays a nervous dude sometimes.
No. He's talked about how he gets nervous, and like if you see his like red carpet stuff, he'll like grab for people's hands and stuff because he's just like a nervous guy. So I don't think he's able to like lie on the stand without anybody calling him out.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah.
Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy essentially confirming. Did you make a statement during a thing that Rangers of the New Republic? CEO Bob Chapek, who is basically there to do the same as the others. Lucasfilm publicist Lynn Hale, who is basically the person who is or was behind the account of Lucasfilm on Twitter, as well as Carano herself. Further, Carano's attorneys also provided a preliminary list in which specific documents they are looking for either side to produce as part of the trial's discovery process. Carano's social media posts, communications between and or among employees of Disney and their subsidiaries, contractors, and or other related entities related to Carano's social media posts, Carano's contracts with Disney, communications between Disney, including its employees or agents, and Carano's former talent agents, publicist, and manager. Communications between Disney, including its employees or agents, and other movie show producers concerning Carano and other damages Carano suffered as a result of lost work due to such communications. Documents showing plans for Rangers of the New Republic series, as well as other series in which or movies in which Carano would have had a role. Documents showing compensation Carano would have earned had Disney not unlawfully terminated her promised projects, including but not limited to the future seasons of The Mandalorian, Rangers of the New Republic, and Star Wars films that were to include the character Cara Dune. Social media posts made by Pedro Pascal, Mark Hamill, or other similarly situated employees or actors. They're gonna point to Mark Hamill and look and be like, look at all this fucking shit that this dude gets to say about politics, and yet he's not at all punished. Documents related to Disney's treatment similarly situated male employees or actors, documents and communications, yada yada. I mean, there's a litany, folks. Noticeably, this is where the meat of the trial will produce itself, as regardless of who eventually wins, the fact that Disney's internal uncensored discussions regarding their purported values will be entered into public record for all to read will no doubt end up turning into a PR nightmare for the House of Mouse. They're going to try to settle this, folks. They're going to offer her a bunch of fucking shut the fuck up money and we'll let bygones be bygones. I'm hoping that Carano does not take that kind of deal.
She's a fighter. Come on.
Yeah. Carano's attorneys are informed of the court, and the actress currently intends to take at least 10 depositions, including Disney's employees involved in the decision to terminate her, as she expects that given the nature of this case, more than the allowed 10 depositions will be necessary to gain a complete picture of what occurred in her case. However, to this end, the actors team did note that in their filing that Carano anticipates that the limit of the number of depositions, but not length of any of the particular deposition, may need to be modified depending on information obtained during discovery. In closing out their filing, Carano's attorney ultimately proposed April 28th, 2025 as the cutoff date for the discovery process and September 29th as the potential start date for her and Disney in-person court trial, which they estimate will take approximately 1 week and see a total of 15 to 20 fucking witnesses called to the stand, 5 from Disney and between 10 to 15 for Carano. For those looking for a recap of each side's respective arguments, the two sides' arguments summarized in each of the respective legal teams of the pair. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, goes on it. This gives the I will leave this in for everybody else to read in the chat because it's just basically going on to the thing. But yeah, folks, there's going to be some heavy stuff going on. And here is the link in the YouTube chat for those. This is going to be like an episode of Bull in the Courtroom. Yes, Riot, yes. Oh, that is so awesome. But yeah,
Absolutely.
folks, she's going hard. And I know for a fact that chances are they're gonna basically lambaste Disney.
Good.
And there's not much that they can do. There is not much that they can do when it comes to this case. So, Ambassador, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Am I surprised that she's calling the people she is calling? No. The question is, will they show up? Either willingly or by subpoena. That's another question entirely. And the other question is going to be, how much BS are they going to try and pull while they're taking the depositions? Because attorneys don't play games. This isn't some cushy boardroom at Disney headquarters. You're going to be expected to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God, or whatever God you may, whether pagan heathen God you may pray to. KK. My hope is that, and I will echo what I said last time. I hope she takes them to court and not only gets a nice hefty settlement out of their sorry ratty asses, but I hope she gets vindicated, and I hope Disney gets publicly shamed for this, even more so than they already have done to themselves as it is. And
yeah,
she has been put through the ringer for doing nothing more than any other private person or public person would do themselves. She voiced an opinion on X, which at the time, unfortunately, wasn't a free speech platform, but thankfully now is, thanks to Mr. Elon Musk. Shout out to Mr. Elon Musk for everything he's done for Ms. Carano and for free speech in general. You rock. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that deposition room or boardroom or wherever they take the depositions at, because I would love to see and hear KK and Pascal and Pablo Hidalgo and everybody else have to own up to what the hell they did and not be able to weasel their sorry business suited asses out of.
Yeah.
I
Kate,
do.
any thoughts?
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Ambassador said, because he was correct, and she has a right to at least a good hefty settlement, because they didn't fire her the proper way. She found out via Twitter that she was fired after they put her through a struggle session. And I believe that she has probably kept record of that. Putting Pedro, right? They tried to, but she understood what it was, and then quickly got out of it. So, but these are the things that will come up in court, and so I really hope, because people are already on to Disney. They're losing money. Their stocks are going down. People aren't going to see their movies. They lost about $1 billion last year, across all of their movies and platforms of big blockbuster releases. So people are already onto them, but yeah, I want her to nail them to the wall, and she's a fighter, so I highly doubt she's gonna just get bought off. Let's say they offer her $20 million to shut up and go away, but if she nails them to the wall, she can get $5 million, and the truth comes out. I think she would do the second route. But
Here's the other thing too. Her family is pretty well off themselves. I mean, granted, they're not like rolling in it, but
right.
I mean, I obviously must.
And she's also teamed up with Elon. She's teamed up with Elon, who's like, hey,
she's never met Elon.
But he's like letting her use his lawyer. Is that what I?
He's paying for. He is paying for her legal fees, essentially.
Okay, so she's not. So she's
Yeah.
not going to have to like ask her parents, even though they may be well off. And I'm pretty sure she's probably done well for herself in her fighting career and then in her movie career.
Yeah, fair, more or less.
And she got re-signed recently. I forget, but she was re-signed with another new management. So she's still like working to get her career back online. But if she exposes Disney, which I believe that this will happen, Disney stock's gonna plummet again, and then
What?
everybody will know even more of how much of trash they are. And I hope to see Gina in more movies and TV shows to come.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts, folks?
I'm good.
That's all I had.
So, moving on to our next one. Pablo Hidalgo may have inadvertently put himself in the lawsuit against Disney because Pablo Hidalgo has been responding to some shit online from my friend. Shout out to Leslie Tarkin, who is one of my viewers and one of the barroom viewers. So shout out to the awesome, beautiful Leslie. But yeah, folks, it seems that Pedro Pascal has been saying some interesting shit online.
Again?
You mean Pablo Hidalgo?
Yeah, that one. What did I say?
You said Pedro.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, the problem is they both sound like the name
yeah.
they both sound like the name of a jackass. But why would you name a jackass with such a horrible name?
Mm-hmm. So, no, it's all right. I'm also trying to do a million other things here too. But essentially, someone to summarize for me, if interested, please and thank you, as always. Pablo Hidalgo responded to Gina Carano's lawsuit. Apparently, there was a thing in which he was talking, and Drunk 3PO said, question, aren't you the one who leaked the story that Gina was fired to the media? Lots of rumors out there. Just want to get it on record. No, I heard about it online like most people. And he's been saying a bunch of other stuff. The problem is, if he's not careful of what he's saying, folks, he could actually inadvertently put himself on the hot seat because he is essentially acknowledging that he had knowledge of the hardships of Gina Carano and whatnot. So I guarantee you, her lawyers are combing through his shit with a fine-tooth comb and
As
getting
they should.
screenshots and all of that stuff. Now, folks, I've also, because we're still on the Gina Carano thing, technically, we all know that Jay from Drunk 3PO and Gina are friends.
Yeah.
And
I met him at the convention when I met her. He was there. They like toured together.
Yeah, I voiced my opinion online. It's like, knowing how devious and crazy Disney can be, I have a feeling they might actually call him to the stand. And some people have come up and said, why? Or they didn't start correspondence until after she got fired. True, but they could still call him up as an after-event witness. And possibly going through his tweets to try to twist him out of context and other shit. I mean, they're going to be looking at Jay. I guarantee you, Disney's going to be looking at Jay as an after-event witness to see if they can try to drive a wedge. That's my speculation.
Like a character witness or something?
Yeah, like a character witness. To try to go or come at Carano with him. I mean,
so do you think he's a weak link?
No. I think that they are going to try to make him as such. I think that they are actually going to come at Jay with everything they can, either be it outside of the courtroom or inside of the courtroom, and they are going to probably fucking talk to YouTube and probably have his fucking channel canceled. I honestly think that they will pull that because he knows her well enough. He knows her well enough that she can, or that they're friends, and they're going to try to drive a wedge. If they can't win against her in court, they're at least going to try to settle for what they would consider a consolation prize, separate her from her friends who have been nothing but supportive by taking shots at them, because we all know how evil Disney is, folks. Disney freaking hides pedophiles in their fucking company. They transfer pedophiles from one division to another in order to protect them because, they were useful. I covered that a few years ago. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I am hoping I am wrong. I do not want Drunk 3PO or anybody who is friends of Gina basically attacked by Disney. I'm not saying I want them attacked by Disney. I actually am hoping that I am proven wrong, that they won't be. But yeah, I do think that Disney is not above doing it. So what are your guys' thoughts on that while I get the final freaking thing ready?
Okay, would you like to go first on this one, being I've gone first the last couple of times?
I mean, I don't have much to say on it. Obviously they're just going to try to demonize her as much as possible because they're desperate. But, I think that they both have really good lawyers, but at the end of the day, I don't think Drunk 3PO, it would be hearsay.
It's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried. But I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think it's gonna work. They tried to demonize her before. The fans rallied behind her. And even she goes to conventions with Katie Sackhoff and is it Ming Ling who plays
Ming Na Wen.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Ming Na Wen.
And they all get along perfectly fine at conventions, So obviously she never had a problem with her coworkers that she worked closely with, who share opposing political ideologies. But, it's just, I don't think that it's going to work, even if they do try to do it.
Well, if
Drunk actually responded to my thoughts when I spoke, that he's like, or he puts up this little gif shh, and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? I mean, I know you're telling me to be quiet, but what does that even mean, man?
Well, if I might step into the place of the devil for a minute, the only way they could really use Drunk 3PO, can they use him as a character witness to a degree? Sure. Granted, I think they've only met once or twice, maybe. They've corresponded numerous times online, as I understand it. To try and use him as a method to do any type of character assassination wouldn't go very far, because they have not known each other for an extended period of time. They've known, like I said, they've only known each other, as far as I know, for a year or two. Would it hurt her?
Or at least as long as she's been fired.
Yeah, pretty much. Could they try to go after him as a consolation prize for backing Carano? They could, but here's the thing. There are other YouTubers out there that have covered her situation more extensively. Granted, they may not have had personal correspondence with her. That's a given. But would probably be a much bigger prize. I don't know how big Drunk's channel has gotten. I don't know if it's in the millions or whatever the case may be. But going after him they could do it to potentially maybe hurt her emotionally. But is it going to deter her from continuing her case? No, it isn't. It's not that I don't think she doesn't care about Drunk Jay, wherever he goes by. But it wouldn't necessarily do a whole lot of good in the long run for them.
I think it would make his page bigger, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't wish him any will. I don't want to see anything happen to any YouTuber, even ones that I don't necessarily agree with. I have no ill will towards Drunk. It's been a while since I've checked out anything on his channel. It's nothing personal. Not even professional either. So, but could they go after Jay? Yeah, they could. But they've got a bigger target on their back, and I don't think they want to waste their resources going after one YouTuber. Now, as far as the whole issue with Pablo Hidalgo goes, the more he smarts off, yeah, he could definitely put a target on his back, and he could definitely, if he doesn't stop making a fool of himself, he's going to end up on a witness stand or in a boardroom or something, having to explain what he knows. And if he's as weak-willed as a lot of the other people as I like to believe are at Disney, he will melt like a snow cone in Phoenix.
Mrs. Doubtfire reference.
I hope somebody got that. I'm glad you did, Orange.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, folks. Pablo, dude, best thing for you to do right now, shut your mouth. I mean, I'm not saying you can't voice your opinion and whatnot. I mean, whatever. But when it comes to Gina Carano, best to shut your mouth. Because you're most likely going to put your foot in your mouth, and you're not going to like the taste. As for Drunk, they may not call him, but I do feel that they may try some sort of underhanded tactics. Because remember, folks, they got so many fucking paid shills. They got so many fucking people who love those early access perks that will come to their defense, that will do all sorts of underhanded shit. Folks, as crazy as it sounds, as conspiracy theory as it sounds, I am not doubting that there will be some sort of underhanded bullshit that they will try to piss or to basically come at Carano emotionally, which will possibly affect testimony. Because if you get a person emotionally charged, it could affect their testimony.
Yeah, it could.
An emotional outburst, a slight response that any body language expert could easily pick up on. That if a jury or if whoever is looking at this, I just feel that there might be something that will happen. And that's why I'm not saying because I want it to happen. I'm saying because I have a very strong feeling it will happen. But moving on to our... go ahead.
I was just saying real quick, plot twist. They do what happened with Scarlett Johansson, and somehow it gets figured out and gets brushed under the rug, and Gina Carano gets her show on Disney. You know?
I don't think she's going to get her show. I do not. I mean, yes, her filing states that her filing says that she should, or she wants her position back. That is legal jargon for basically she has to be legally hired in order to get it. Or to get the money that she is back owed.
I was just, it was just a, alternate universe. If it, wouldn't it be funny if? I don't think that's going to happen. I think, they'll end up having to just pay her. But it would have just been funny if, plot twist, like it all just kind of works out in the end.
We get you.
Yeah, they're going to they are most likely going to throw a shit ton of money at her. And she's like, look, or if she says, no, I just want what I'm owed and I don't want excess. that will truly speak to Gina Carano's character. And I do believe that she is the kind of person who would do that. She would basically say, I am not going to take excessive amounts because you want me to shut up. No, that ain't going to happen. I am going to take you to court. I am going to push this to its conclusion, and I am going to seek what I am owed. Nothing more, nothing less. And that is what I'm hoping she will. It is up to her, folks. It is up to her. I'm not saying she needs to do this or that. I am simply saying that I hope that is what she does. Now, whether she does it or not, hey, that is her choice. Like I said, all power to choice and whatnot. But yeah, moving on to our final closer, Rings of Power star, or Rings of Power cast member smears and tosses some shade at the fans. So we all know Rings of Power, and I mean, I covered that shit when it was coming out back in season 1 time, folks, where I still haven't watched a single episode, and I'm proud of that. I won't. I made a promise to Tolkien's memory. I will not watch a complete episode of that show. Have I watched 30 minutes of an episode of that show? Nope. I have only ever watched clips because they're unavoidable.
Yeah, I've only seen the ones that like pop up on Twitter, like the 1 minute ones or the 2 minute
like
ones
the
or whatever.
Fucking waking up, which it's like
I haven't even seen that. I saw like Galadriel fight scene, her running on the beach with the horse, her
I never saw any of
on
that.
that like raft with Sauron, not Sauron.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think I've seen those 3 and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, Morphin Clark, after the series or after the first season came out, is like, I could totally understand why fans feel the way they do. I mean, yes, of course, you're dealing with something like Tolkien. Fans are going to feel cheated and whatnot. And I'm like, Morphin, sweetie, I'm glad that you're waking up to reality, but you fucking trashed fans as sexist and racist pieces of shit for the entirety of when your shitty show came out. And yes, your show was shitty. Now, folks, I also covered how their first teaser got nearly 4 million dislikes. And then they started erasing over 1 million dislikes to keep, or almost 2 million dislikes. Where a lot of, I paid attention to the numbers, folks. It's all in my coverage. You just got to do a little bit of a deep dive to find it. Just look up Rings of Power. You'll find those videos. Mm-hmm. But now we got this thing from Bounding into Comics. Shout out to you boys. Amazon's Rings of Power star defends series race swapping. Well, of course, he's black. Sorry, I said it. Yeah, I fucking said it. A lot of people speaking on behalf of Tolkien.
Ooh,
I don't know if they I don't know if they understand the spirit of Tolkien. These people who are quote unquote speaking on behalf of Tolkien. We're not speaking on behalf of the man. We are speaking what he has told the people through his notes and his interviews and whatnot. We know what he was thinking at the time because he voiced what he was thinking at the time. He didn't want any pale, or he sold the rights to his stuff for $1. The movie rights to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings for $1. A single dollar, folks, because he knew they couldn't be faithfully adapted. And oh my God, these people even admitted they didn't have the source material to the stuff that they were trying to put out.
And even though Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings isn't a faithful adaptation,
it's a damn good one.
It's a damn good one, and it kept to the heart of it. So fans are willing
with Tolkien's, or with respect to Tolkien in mind. That is
right,
why people embraced it.
Right, but Amazon did the opposite. They're like, we're gonna make it our own, but they didn't understand the heart and the soul of it, and that's why Peter Jackson succeeded and Amazon failed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just some fantasy series. It's not just some,
This isn't.
it's Middle
sorry.
Earth.
Go ahead, Kate.
No, that's all I was gonna say. It's just you can't just like make it your own. This is the daddy of all fantasy series.
Yeah.
You know, there. If I may,
Yeah.
there is troves of notes and documents and interviews and so on and so forth that have been published or released to the public, and we can read or hear Tolkien's thoughts on his own work, on what he wanted to create, on his ideas behind what he wanted to create, on what he believed Middle-earth stood for, and what the world of Arda, that's the broader universe itself that the Lord of the Rings takes place in. We know all this. So we're not speaking for the man. We're commentating, or we're outright parroting what the man said himself that's been saved for posterity. We are going off of what Peter Jackson and the other creators who worked with him were going off of. Granted, they're not the greatest thing ever. We're going off the animated films that were done back in the 70s and 80s and the spirit in which they were created to try and be as respectful as possible to his work. Rings of Power is not respectful in any degree to Tolkien's work. If you are a Tolkien fan and you accept this Drek as a fair representation of his work, then I say this with all due respect. You need to do some deeper digging into the man's thoughts on what he made. Because the Rings of Power, Galadriel and Sauron were not going to be a couple. She was supposed to be married to
Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Celeborn.
No, Celeborn. Sorry.
Celeborn. Sorry. Yeah, Celeborn. Too many.
Sorry. I was
no,
like,
it's okay.
So many people have like the.
Yeah. Celeborn. I think at the point when, even before her and him came to Middle Earth from Barrowland, if that's correct pronunciation, I hope it is.
Galarian.
Okay, fine. Close enough. This show is a poorly crafted, poorly acted, poorly structured fan fiction written by a bunch of newbie writers who have no business being anywhere near Tolkien's work. No part of it, regardless of what Amazon purchased. I know, I'm not the ultimate authority on the Lord of the Rings. I know from watching the special features from the Lord of the Rings, from doing my own research, from reading some of the books, everything that deal with his creation of this universe. So I think I've got a pretty good idea of what he wanted his world to represent. This ain't it. And to the gentleman who's playing a elf, who's got to be the most
We'll get to that.
elf.
We'll get to that. We haven't even gone through the thing.
Okay. Sorry.
Let's get to that first.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Hey, Vanya.
Hello, Vanya. Good to see you.
We're talking about the Rings of Power. Bite my ass.
And yes, we are on our last topic for the night. So yeah, you kind of caught it a little late. So let's get into this from Bound in the Comics. Rings of Power star Ismael Cruz Cordova is standing by the Amazon series, decided to race swap numerous elements of Tolkien's work. From the Númenorian royal Tarmiriel, to the entire Harfoot breed of hobbits, to the very race of the Sylvian elves, or or from which Cordova's character, Arondir, hails from, Rings of Power features numerous instances wherein characters or races previously depicted in both Tolkien's works and in various adaptations of as white were diversified by Amazon in their translation to the small screen. And while many fans have taken issue with the blatant attempt to use a storied author's classic work as a platform for identity politicking, the aforementioned Cordova has dismissed their concerns and simply them missing the point of Tolkien's work. Speaking to his casting during Entertainment Weekly's Brave Warriors panel at the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con, per a recap provided by the outlet, the actor asserted, "My character is not in the lore of Lord of the Rings," and that was an issue for some people. It was a big controversy for me, the first elf that wasn't white. Of course, he's going to bring it about that, folks. I love the nerve that I pinched. I really do. I was so excited to create something new. A lot of people speaking on behalf of Tolkien. I don't know if they understand the spirit of Tolkien. His works speak of the times. No.
Oh, they were supposed to be timeless.
His works speak of ancient times.
They were supposed to be, okay, he created the world of Middle-earth and Arda as a whole. The world that Iluvatar created was supposed to be like the ages before. So he created this whole world because he was sad that England didn't have an oral history due to the Norman conquests. And so he was trying to create this like mythology of England, like this oral history, like the Greeks had all these like, Hercules and Medusa and Pericles and blah, blah, blah. And, there was like Thor and stuff. So anyway, the end of the Third Age and the beginning of the Fourth Age, like the beginning of like, okay, the reason why he didn't write anything about the Fourth Age beyond, like Aragorn's life and then like who his son was, we don't know much about that, is because it was kind of like, okay, what we live in today is probably the Fourth or Fifth Age, and he kind of saw the world as there were 7 ages total, and he didn't just see the history of Middle-earth as just like, oh, the Lord of the Rings, the war over the rings. He saw it as like the war over the jewels and the rings. It was like this whole complete history. So to like ignore that whole meaning and like not care about it and then just be like, oh, I'm gonna make it look like me, is totally disingenuous, and that you don't care about the source material. And it like, this is why the fans didn't freaking watch your show, and this is why you got downvoted so many times.
Yep. Now, turning to the addition of a completely new and original character of Tolkien's lore, he opined, "We work with the deep existential questions." No, you don't. And those questions change with the times. No, they don't. We can't retell something like Lord of the Rings today. You didn't. 2024 without introducing different existential questions that comes in the form of character. Why did Lord of the Rings from Peter Jackson turn out so well? I mean, I believe they almost had a clean sweep with the Oscars, but yeah. And guess what? It was a mostly white cast. I mean, yes, you also had black cast and other people who were playing orcs and other shit, but but the orcs are not some sort of a representation of black people. I'm not saying that at all.
But the focus wasn't on race. It was just on good versus evil.
Because Lord of the Rings races are orcs, Uruk-hai, goblins,
Ents,
men,
hobbits,
elves, hobbits, and so forth. It wasn't about Asians, blacks, Hispanics, or whatever. No, that's not the world of Arda. But anyway, we have never seen an elf that was the people's elf. What, you mean like the people's champion? Anyway, I mean, what, you think you're John Cena or some shit?
That would be The Rock.
Whatever.
That was The Rock's tagline, the people's champion. But
whatever.
Yeah, go on.
Anyway,
go on.
We always seen elves that were royal and regal, but we hadn't seen one that was on the front line, or that was a frontline soldier, a guy that got an assignment kind of thing. It was, dude, did you ever read the books or watch fucking Lord of the Rings? Yes, we did get those characters. Oh my god, you piece of ignorance.
Let's see, Legolas, Faramir, Eomer. Granted,
Elves.
the two of them.
Elves.
Yeah, elves. Well, Legolas is the closest one we
is
get.
regal. He's regal. He's a prince.
Yeah,
but,
granted, but he's still an elf and he's still out in the field.
True, but also look at the fucking elves that were at
Helm's
in
Deep?
the battle of Helm's Deep didn't do that in the books. I'm going by the books. The
elves in the books they didn't show up.
Yeah, the elves that were part of the last alliance. The elves that were, I mean, what the fuck? The elves that are not all the elves in Rivendell are fucking royal and regal.
And there's so many different types of elves, and
swords.
there's depending on like when they came over from Valinor, and then there's the dark elves who never saw the light of the trees.
Yeah.
And oh man, like we could go on for hours about the different types of elves. So even within, like people talk about, oh, there aren't different races. It's Lord of the Rings is too white. Like they don't understand the races were, like we said, all of those different races. But then
there were subsects.
Yeah, exactly. There were different. There were different races within the race of elves. There were even, unless I'm wrong here, there were even different races within the race of dwarves.
Yeah. And
I may be wrong.
Definitely. Yes. There was other dwarves. I mean, there was Ali's creations, and then there was all those who followed after the lines, which had subtle differences. A guy it was pretty cool to represent that and have a voice within elvenness. I think a lot of people identify with this elf and his plight. What was his plight? Folks, I'm going to go there again because I need to explain. I need to explain this. I can identify with characters whether they are black, white, human, or otherwise. I can identify, we'll use Lord of the Rings, for example. I can identify with some of the hobbits like Sam. I'm fiercely loyal to my friends. I am going to make sure that they are doing all right. I care about them deeply. I can identify with Pippin very much. For the longest time, I was very carefree in my life until real life came up and gave me a kick in the ass that kind of had to make me grow up real fucking quick. I can identify with freaking Gandalf. I bring a little bit of wisdom to the game. I can identify with, what's his name? He was Aragorn. Yeah, that one. Sorry. I have a problem up here, folks. Memory problems. But Aragorn, he's a person who is there's more to him than you simply see on the outside. I can identify with so many other people. I mean, Star Wars is my best example. I identify with all the main characters, including the ones that are not even human. I identify with the Wookiee because I'm hairy and fluffy and cuddly. I identify with the freaking droids. I identify with the droids because, like R2, if I was ever pissed off about something, I'd be bleeping out all of my speech as well. I identify, joke obviously, but I'm very caring like R2D2. When it comes to C3PO, I can be very smart, but also very fucking annoying. And sometimes, if you don't freaking listen to me, shit's gonna go sideways. So, yeah, I can identify with all sorts of characters. I mean, just like Princess Leia, I have a wise mouth. I'm a wise ass. I'm a smart ass. I will freaking let you know it too.
Fiercely independent, yeah.
That too. To the point, yeah. To a point. But yeah, folks.
But there are different things, yeah. Like I can watch, Pride and Prejudice, and I don't identify with women in the 17 or 1600s or whatever. but I can identify with loss and love. You know, there's this thing called the shared human experience.
Yes.
So even though we may not look like each other, we know what grieving feels like. We know what happiness feels like. We know what, we know what these different things feel like, and we can sympathize or empathize with each other depending on the situation. So I may not know what it's like to, there was this, people talking on the internet, and I think there's this meme going around. It's like everybody knows a Frodo, somebody who's struggling to carry the weight of something. Be a Sam.
Mhm.
Um, and
We're all Frodo.
there's a reason why Tolkien started writing Middle Earth like 100 years ago, and people are still reading it and enjoying it and talking about it, and it's because
Yeah,
it's
because
timeless.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
It is.
So
it has a timeless element to it. Yeah.
I will just say this to Mr. Cordova, to quote one of my favorite movies from the 1980s. To somewhat quote, pull your head out of your ass and take a
But
look around and see the fact that, guess what? You're not special. You're not unique. You're a grab-assed piece of amphibian shit just like the rest of us, who's just
Oh.
trying to get our crap together.
Mm-hmm.
You wear prosthetic ears and a crappy costume. That doesn't make you special. The show doesn't make you special. It makes you a laughing stock.
What are you talking about, Ryan Johnson?
No, these idiots on the Rings of the Rings of Power.
Hey, Madam Ambassador, I love that. Who are you talking about, Ryan Johnson? I love that. Oh my God, folks! I
Great
heard
guess,
that
though.
in my ears. I don't know if it's on stream, but hey, Madam Ambassador, thumbs up to you, gal.
You just got thumbs up from Orange.
But yeah.
So anyway,
Love that.
But moving on to, or finishing out this, closing out his thoughts on the modern audience updates of Amazon made Tolkien's
This is
work.
what I think about your thoughts, Mr. Cordova. This is what I think.
It's necessary to revise things and represent and exist. I think that people look at us to affirm their own existence. So I'm happy people can look at that. People can look at that and look at any of us and see themselves in this beautiful world we should belong in. Fantasy. Dude, nobody's saying you can't belong into it. However, I will say there's no such thing as black elves. They could have made you a fucking human. They could have freaking made you half elven or some shit, because yes, there are half elvens. I mean, I do believe
Elrod was half elven because his father was an elf and his mother was a human. Yep. That's why he's referred to as Elrod. That's why he's referred to as Elrod half elven in the books.
Elrond, not Elrod.
Elrond. You know what I meant.
Get it right, dude. This is Tolkien. But anyway,
I'm aware of that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Elrod half elven. There, are you happy?
No, because you said Elrod. Anyway, for those masochists, we're looking for the N.
N and then the L.
Anyway, Elrond. Anyway, folks, for those masochists out there among our readers, The Ring of Power Season 2 hits Amazon Prime on August 29th. How freaking fitting. It's arriving on Judgment Day.
I would rather.
No freaking way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would rather watch. I would rather watch The Last Jedi for 24 hours without the aid of alcohol.
Oh no! Just straight.
I love what Ryan Kitty's saying here. No shit, bro. I identify with Wolverine, a buff, hairy Canadian man with razors coming out of his hands. Nice. I mean, I cannot picture that, but
Thank
I
you,
cannot picture
Riot.
Riot Kitty
Thank
as
you.
Bavarian God.
Question, right? Are you the 5-foot version of Logan like we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Oh my God! Yeah, they finally did a comic accurate.
I
version
know
of
it
him.
was hilarious, and everybody when with me, my buddy went to see it. It was hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody's telling me about Deadpool Wolverine. No spoilers. Sorry, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not too
sorry,
much of a
okay.
bad spoiler. But anyway,
Okay,
we will.
okay, that's all I'll say. Sorry,
move away
sorry,
from
Kate.
that. But anyway,
Yeah,
folks,
moving away.
yeah, this dude is saying that to feel represented, you gotta look, or he's essentially still pushing the party line of or people can only identify it with you if you look or just like they do. And I'm sorry, that is a very shallow way of looking at life. Folks, I literally am a walking example of the fucking black stereotypes that people love to fucking shove on them. Broken family, fucking ancestors slaves, or all that fucking shit. I've freaking been beaten up because of being white and all sorts of shit. So yeah, if you think that fucking racism is one-sided, you're out of your fucking mind. It isn't. But yeah, as for Ishmael and him saying that, people should, or I'm glad I can represent people or be representative and whatnot. Dude, you could, or I'm not saying that you couldn't be in Lord of the Rings. You could easily be in Lord of the Rings or this Rings of Power show if they ever respected Tolkien. I would call it Lord of the Rings, but that's not Lord of the Rings. You're not in Lord of the Rings. And it's not because you're black. It's because Rings of Power is a complete divorce of what Tolkien wrote. It's like, if you honestly think that if you honestly think that people are going to look at, well, unfortunately, there are some of those people out there who do, but if you really do think that all the people are going to look at the show and be like, oh, it's like it came straight out of Tolkien novels. No. We called it out because the showrunners admitted they didn't have the rights to the Silmarillion. The stuff that they based this show on was based off of the appendices to The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books. So yeah. Also, they're supposedly going to confirm the identity of the stranger, that wizard person, who came upon a star in the show, and it's like,
I wonder who it could be.
Who definitely isn't.
There's a lot of speculation it might be Gandalf. There's a lot of speculation it might be somebody that's like, as far as I am concerned, to me it doesn't fucking matter. But as far as I'm concerned, I really wouldn't go there. I just really wouldn't go there because Gandalf and all of them were from the First Age. They didn't arrive into Middle-earth until the Third Age, because that is when Ilúvatar sent the Ishtar to the to Middle-earth. But anyway, folks, yeah. Any final thoughts, folks?
Yeah, I have the theory on who the stranger is. It's Sauron's retarded brother, Saras.
I would have said sore ass, but yeah.
That's a good one. My final thought is I'm still not watching it, and they warned me not to watch it, and then they called me names for not watching it. So I'm still not watching it.
This is my final response.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know what that did. I'm sorry, but anyway, yeah, folks. Not paying attention to Lord of the Rings season 2. I will, however, say.
You called it Lord of the Rings. Shame on you.
Mea culpa. I will, however, say, I will not watch Rings of Power. There, better. However, I will ask that you all pray for my friend Jade Shadow. She is going to be cutting herself watching the show. She's not really going to be
Wait,
physically
what?
cutting herself. She's not physically going to be cutting herself, but she's basically going to be torturing herself by watching this show. It's essentially the same as cutting.
Okay,
it's
I was
essentially
you can't pause like that.
I know, I'm sorry. But anyway, also pray for her liver because most likely she will be imbibing a lot of alcohol.
Alcohol.
Oh,
But yeah, folks.
Next time you talk to her, tell her I'll be sending her lots of funny stuff on X, and tell her, hey, I comment on her stuff. She never followed me back. I'm a little.
She doesn't follow a lot of people, dude. She doesn't follow a lot of people.
I know, and that's okay.
I will say, just in advance, get yourself some like Pedialyte or something, or Ensure, just to.
Don't have any hard alcohol and then drink Gatorade. You will make yourself very sick.
You will die, and we don't want her to die.
You will blast all over the fucking room you were in. I have seen that happen, and it is not a pretty sight, and neither is the smell. But anyway, folks, that's going to be the stream tonight. We're going to come up with some more topics next week. We're going to be talking about, I don't know, whatever fuck Hollywood decides to throw at us.
Whatever dumbassery.
Yeah.
The dumbassery that is known as Hollywood.
Tomorrow night is going to get into some politics stuff, rants and whatnot. I have a little rant about how people treated Kyle Rittenhouse, and it's going to piss off some conservatives because, I am going to say a lot of what needs to be said in that freaking stream because the way that people treated Kyle Rittenhouse recently is absolutely fucking retarded, and that's coming from a lot of the conservatives who did it. So, Anyway, folks, that's for tomorrow night at 9 p.m. That's when the rants start. If you want a link, it'll be in the live chat on YouTube. So if you want to come in, rant about it and whatnot, and then run away, that's awesome. We do a rotating panel on that so I don't get too many people on because that way it's not eating up my signal. And Tuesday is theme stream, Mel Gibson Badassery, 1:30 p.m. Be there. Awesomeness. All right. And thank you to everybody who is in the chat. Riot Kitty, Vanya, Ambassador, Real Nerdy Review. Thank you all for tuning in. Also, shout out again to Leslie Tarkin for bringing that Pablo Hidalgo shit to my attention. To Gina Carano, I say good luck, Godspeed, God bless. To the Olympics, may you one day return back to your Greek origins and not to your debaucherous, sinful, satanic, whatever you are calling it nowadays. I mean, you're allowing fucking pedophiles, according to Kate, to compete in your games. So what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, and to Amazon, I have no intention of watching your Rings of Power stuff because, it's not Tolkien's work. If you had truly had any respect for Tolkien, I would have thought differently, but you don't. You actually thought you could do better than Tolkien. And that was where you lost 1 billion Tolkien fans. You only have the love of maybe a couple million Tolkien fans at most. Tolkien fans run 1 billion plus. So do Star Wars fans, from what I am understanding. But folks, that's going to be it. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a lovely night. And always remember to stay humble. Because we all know that Amazon and the Olympics are not. Take care.
Are you done? Are you done?